Hey guys, so I wanted to show you the latest thing that I just got done making. It's a pen that I turned on a lathe. And the whole lathe thing, pen turning thing is pretty new to me, but if you have a lathe then you already know what I'm talking about. It's really addicting, and this was just fun. I've been turning out pens now, it seems like every few days. Anyways, this pen it's a slimline pen, and the wood that I used on it is called pedalk wood, and it's a beautiful wood. It turned out great. Anyway, so I've got a video of how I made this and kind of the steps that you go to make a pen. And as always, you can check out my website at woodlogger.com. So for the pen that I'm going to make, I have this blank of pedalk wood, and the inserts that are going to go inside, there's actually two of them, so the wood will actually be chopped in half. But before I do that, I actually have some excess that I want to trim off. So it'll be 2 inches, 2 inches, and I'll probably give myself about 1/8 of an inch to play with. But I'll start by trimming this off to begin with. And now I'm just ready to go ahead and cut it in half so that I've got both my halves. Okay, so for my pen blank, there's a couple steps that I still need to do. I've got my two pieces now, and I want to keep the grain pattern sort of lined up, and what I'm going to do is actually draw a line just as a reference so that I know when I go to match this up later. And it's kind of nice when you have the same grain pattern on a pen, so that you got the top of the pen and the bottom of the pen, and they can kind of have them run together, and it just kind of looks kind of nice. And then so I've got my mark now so that I can tell where the grain is. And the other thing is I want to mark, find my center mark on the inside of the two. And I've actually got this nice little center finder. It's it's also a caliper tool. You could certainly just use a ruler. But since I've got it, I'm going to use it. So for my blank I've got here, I'm actually using a jig that I made to just kind of help keep it sturdy. They do sell these kind of pen centering jigs that look pretty cool, but this works pretty well for me. So anyways, you might want to take time to kind of make one. You just want to make sure everything's can just kind of sit there and be centered. Okay, so I've got the holes drilled out for my pieces right here, and what I'm ready for next is the little brass inserts that go inside. But first, what I'm going to do is just kind of scratch it up so that the glue will have a better chance to apply to it. And I'm using 60 grit paper here. It's what I usually use on most things. So anyways, I'm going to use a product called Stick Fast, and it really does stick fast. To insert that, and I'll just kind of twist it and take it in and out as I go. And I'm going to just use a pen to help try and get that in there. That's usually goes just a little under the surface. So they do sell tools that will do this, that kind of help you do it. I just always use the backside of a paper mate pen. I've got my wood blank all ready to go, and the glue is dried. And I don't know if you can see this little brass, the brass fitting that I put inside there. But what I've got to do next is I've got to take this to the drill press and use a barrel trimmer to trim away the excess wood so that it's just sort of flush with that brass fitting. And on this side, it's pretty good. I was pretty close to the mark when I inserted the brass tube into the wood, and then I've got a little bit of cleanup to do on this side. Okay, guys, so I have my pen all sort of ready to be turned, and now my next step is to load it on a mandrel. And what I have a mandrel number 2 is what I use for mine. And what you do is you use these guide bushings, and the one that I bought, actually, it's a set of 4. And what I do on mine is I put one there so that it helps me from hitting against that with my chisel. And then the other thing I like to do is I like to make sure that I match up the sides that have the same grain pattern together. So I'll put this on next, and I'll separate it by 2 of those. Put the next one on, put my last guide bushing on, and then I just put it on there and tighten it up. Okay, well, I'm ready to mount the mandrel for my pen. Make sure that's tight again. It feels pretty tight. I'm going to slide this over to give it support. And tighten it up just a little bit. I don't think you want to put too much pressure on it because you could bend the mandrel. But I think a little bit of support helps. And then I want to adjust my blade guard so that I'm just a little under the midpoint. So I'm going to turn this and see how it goes. Well, there it is. I think this turned out pretty good. It feels pretty smooth. You really want to try and get your end pieces as close to the guide bushing as possible. Because if it's larger, then when you go to put it together, it just looks kind of wonky. So, but I think this looks pretty good. So I'm ready to start sanding now, and I've got this cool little kit. It's got 5 different types of sanding paper in it, and I'll actually start at a 150 grit, and I'll work my way all the way down or up to a 600 grit. All right, well, I've got my sanding done. Next up, I just need to get the any sawdust off my pen before I apply wax. And I just use a paper towel for that. Some people use mineral spirits. Maybe if I had some mineral spirits, I would use that, but I'm just gonna do this instead. Okay, so now I'm actually ready for wax. I've got the sawdust off, and I'm using 2 different products. They're by the same company, but this one's called Triple E Ultra Shine, and it is dramatic what happens when you apply this. I don't know how well it'll show up on the video, but it takes on a completely different look after you put just a simple coat of this on there. So I'm going to do that now, and I just use paper towels for that. So next up, I have this product called Shello Wax, and again, this is made by the same company that made the Triple E Ultra Shine. And this is another thing, it just kind of it creates kind of a hard shell, and you only need just a small drop or 2 for the whole pen. And when you apply this, you put enough pressure on there so that it actually kind of bakes it into the pen. So you just gotta kind of hold it so you can almost feel it start to get warm, and then you just keep on moving. Alright guys, so I've got my all my pen parts ready to go. This turned out really beautiful. I like the color and the richness of it. So next, I've got this pen press that I got. It's from Miles Craft, and this is a great piece of equipment if you can swing one. You certainly don't need it. You can just use a clamp if you want. But to start off with, I'm going to take the clip that I have here and my top, and you just flip that over, line your bar up, goes on there for you. I've got my top done. Next up I'm going to do the tip. Pretty good. So I got my tip on. So I've got my mechanical piece right here. I'm going to do the same thing again. Line that up. Flip it over. I'm going to squeeze this. There's a small indentation. I'm going to go to that just hits the line. And now I just slide my little separator ring over it. Put my pin insert into it. And I'm ready for my top. And there you have it. There's my pin. And it works really well. This really turned out, it's a really pretty pin. It's actually one of my favorites now, I think. So that's pretty much it. That's all there is to making a pin. It's a lot of steps, but they're all simple steps, and they're all things that someone who's wants to get into pin making can do pretty easily. The only downside is that it's a little expensive, but once you have all the equipment, turning out more pins. Pin after pin, and it makes it pretty easy. So, as always, check out my website at woodlogger.com if you want to see more detailed pictures and other videos of things I've made.